happen.
It's kind of like that last year when Doug Martin went crazy for, was it 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns? It was something insane
Yeah,
like
if that guy lost who had him,
Oh,
and
yeah.
his team is terrible.
Who killed you this week on your team?
RG3.
RG3 did?
Yeah.
He came back in the second half, though. But
He threw for a lot of yards, but
my goodness, that Philadelphia team it looks legit. LaShawn McCoy's need to be moved up quite a bit.
yeah, see, I had a choice between Eli Manning and RG3, and I went with RG3.
I'd probably go the same way. It's Shane Vereen.
Next week it may be different, though.
Yeah.
Seeing how bad the Giants were, I think they can't be any worse offensively than that, and they got a little bit better as the game went on.
Yeah, and I think better things coming. Victor Cruz had 3 touchdowns, which was nice. Only receiver to get 3 touchdowns last week.
And I think with the running back situation there with the Giants, they may be more apt to put the ball in the air.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine, though. I think Dave Wilson will come around. He's been holding the ball all week long in practice, and it's not game time,
too.
But you do.
Yeah, and he killed me.
I had
too.
Stephen Ridley on my team, and he fumbled once, so it was to return for a touchdown, and he rode the bench. Shane Vereen, he was on my bench, and now he's going to be out until like week 11.
And that's the beauty of fantasy football.
Exactly,
You never know.
Yeah, so let's speaking of injuries, let's look over them real quickly here. Des Bryant, he has a foot injury. He's been limited in practice, but he should play against Kansas City on Sunday. If you had Des Bryant, would you be starting him?
I would start him.
I think you have to.
I think he's gonna play. It's a big game for the Cowboys, and I think he'll play.
The one that really surprised me, Roddy White, all this off season and into the preseason, it was an ankle. They wouldn't really say exactly what it was, but we found out now it's a high ankle sprain, and he was basically, and he said it himself, he's just kind of out there as a decoy for Julio Jones. He got a lot of action, and as well. The receiver Harry Douglas got some action for the Falcons as well. Roddy White owners had to been a little unhappy, a little perturbed, if you will.
Well, I think that a lot of people might not have played him.
Really?
Because of his injuries and just kind of.
But he's Roddy White, though.
Yeah, but if you pay attention, which you have to, read the papers in Atlanta, see what's going on. They might have been more apt to sit him this week to see how he was used. If they had a suitable other receiver.
You take Roddy White. He's probably a 3rd-round pick. I don't think you have many other options right off the bat in week 1 that you're going to play. And for me, if they say he's going to be out there and he's going to be playing, he's Roddy White. I'm going to play the guy anyways. But he's never missed a game before, so you think he'd be out there, catching balls and he'd be fine. Had a nice little chest bump, I guess, when Julio Jones got a touchdown. So the ankle didn't seem to affect him too much, but I think it's more.
But I think that's where when you have time, you have to read the papers in the city. You have to do a little homework. You find out some things there on injuries, and I think that that's something that most of your skilled fantasy football players, that's what they do.
I think you need an inside scoop on in the Atlanta organization for that one.
I think if you read the papers, though, you find out that he was limited in practice and didn't do a whole lot.
But if he started, wouldn't you? For me, I'd have to start him.
Okay, I would have, depending on who else I had, I might have sat him.
All right. Danny Amendola, he went out early. He's so high risk, high reward, and mentioned that before. Great when he's in there. He had a groin injury. I thought he was going to be out for the rest of the game, but he comes back in. I think he had 10 catches and did very well. I don't know if he's going to play on Thursday. It's a short
I just
week.
heard that he will be out until week 11.
No, you're talking Shane Vereen. Vereen will be.
Vereen, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
Amendola, I don't think he's going to play this week. If it was Sunday, possibly he'd get a little more time to heal up. But I think Danny Amendola might be out, and that could be more looks for Julian Edelman. Hot pickup this week as well. For the running backs, Shane Vereen, as mentioned before, he has a broken wrist. It happened early in the game. Apparently he played through it, and the only reason he's not playing and he needs surgery now is the bone is kind of digging into a nerve, causing numbness in his hand, so he can't really feel.
That's not good for for a football player.
So he's going to be out. He had a great game. I'm trying to check his stats real quickly here. Shane Vereen finished. And I'm not finding him here right now. He had over 100 yards. He had 14 carries, 101 yards. and 7 catches for 58, which is really nice in PPR. I had him. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play him or Ridley. I wanted to wait and see how the Patriots' offense was going to work out. So, I mean, if you played him this first week, you got, it was bittersweet. You got some great points out of him, but now he's going to be gone. I think he's droppable unless you have an IR spot. I mean, I'll be dropping him. I actually tried to drop him and pick up another wide receiver, but somebody beat me in bid points for it. But I'm probably not going to hang on to him. It takes up a spot. He's going to be out till week 11, and the playoffs start 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, if you can find somebody, you need to go ahead and do that, because they say he's going to be out till week 11. Who knows with all the time that he's missed when he comes back, how effective he's going to be, if he's is going to be able to do much.
Have to kick off a little rust too.
Right, and by that time, you may be able to find somebody else that can fill that spot.
Yep. Another nice game for another running back, Detroit's Reggie Bush. He had 2 injuries. He had dislocated thumb. They just popped that back in on the sideline, no big deal. And then he just said he's just carried the ball with his other hand the whole time. So, but the grind,
the way they're going to use him there,
it was
he's going to get a lot of touches.
Yeah, and anybody that I wanted him, but he went really high, and he should have. He had a very nice game. Joique Bell, his teammate, also had a nice game as well. Joique Bell finishing 6 for 25. He had 2 touchdowns. Reggie Bush, 21 carries for 90 yards. He had 4 catches for 101 yards and a score, and 2 of his touchdowns were called back. So Bush could have had like 3 touchdowns. I think they're going to limit him a little bit and work in Joique Bell as well. Especially he's got a groin injury too, so I don't think they really want to mess with that early on in the season.
But they found a way to use him. What we envision, I was a Miami Dolphin fan for a while, I envisioned the Dolphins using him that way.
What is wrong with Miami?
We don't have enough time.
Lamar Miller. I feel bad for anybody who grabbed Lamar Miller. It was a disaster in Miami, but they ended up beating my Cleveland Browns. So yay on that one. Jamal Charles, he has a bruised quad. He's questionable as of now for the game against Dallas. I
think he's going to be a go.
He'll probably be a go. They say he has range of motion, but Dexter McCluster, who was just here not long ago, signing autographs, kissing babies, he might get a couple extra looks, maybe some more screens.
He's going to get carries and some passes attended to him just because they said they're going to lighten the load on Jamal Charles.
What did you think of Dallas's defense on Sunday night? Was it
okay?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, they went to a 4-3 and Ware. Now he's just constantly rushing the passer, which he likes to do, and I think Dallas is a nice pickup for a defense. And granted, it's a small sample size early in the season.
We'll know a lot more after next week.
Yeah, yes, we will. Moving on to the quarterbacks, Tony Romo, speaking of the Cowboys, he took a nice little shot. His ribs, I'm sure he woke up the next morning a little sore, but it looks like he'll be a go against the Chiefs. They said no structural damage, so just seeing as long as he was down for, I thought he at least has to have like some torn cartilage. He'll be in one of those flak jackets, but
yeah, I'm sure he'll be wearing some extra protection against the Chiefs.
But he's a Cowboy. He's tough as nails. So there you are. Blaine Gabbert cut his hand. Do we care?
Not just it's a nasty cut. It was not
15 stitches.
Yeah, it was not just a slight cut. That was nasty.
He'll be out versus Oakland. Chad Henney's going to get the start. I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother on that one.
And I don't think a lot of people did bother with Blaine Gabbert. And that offense is not going to do a whole lot.
Yeah, the only one, maybe Maurice Jones-Drew, you can have him. And it wasn't a great game for him. Hopefully better things are coming, but we'll wait and see on that. And finally, tight end Zach Zutfeld had a hamstring injury. He missed one of the passes from Tom Brady, which was intercepted, and that was pretty much all the time Brady had for him on that game. He's going to be he's listed as questionable on Thursday against the Jets. Probably will play. He'll be out there, but I really like Julian Edelman as far as if your waivers haven't cleared yet and you can pick him up. I think Julian Edelman is a very nice add if he's still available in the league. What do you think of Julian Edelman? He had 2 touchdowns on the game. It seemed that Brady was looking at him more times than not. He finished the game with 7 catches, 79 yards, and 2 scores.
I think with the Patriots, a lot of players are going to have some good numbers depending on the week and the matchup because they do such a good job of exploiting what the other team's defense does. So, if you got a chance to pick him up, he may not do anything for a couple of weeks.
This week, I think he will. Because I don't think Danny Amendola is going to play. You have Shane Vereen, who's out till week 11, and now Zach Sudfeld's on. He's injured. He's questionable. Gronkowski's not going to be back this week, I don't believe, either. So I think this would be a good day for Edelman to actually rack up some yards. Now, granted, they're playing the Jets, and they might get up early, and they might not need to throw anymore. That Buffalo team last week seemed to stand toe-to-toe with the Patriots. And
Manuel did a good job. That was a surprising outcome of the game, and the Patriots had to come back and win in that fashion.
E.J. Manuel finishing with 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not real sexy, but he got the job done. Found Stevie Johnson on a throw as well for a touchdown. Anybody who kind of surprised you, who disappointed you for this week?
Well, I was disappointed in Lamar Miller. I was disappointed in what he did there with the Dolphins. Disappointed with RG3 looking as bad as he did early, but he did come back and some garbage points and got some yards late. I think that's going to be a situation where if you have another quarterback, you may want to wait a couple 2 or 3 weeks, but I think he's going to be inconsistent with his lack of time in the preseason.
Yeah, it's going to take some time for that.
And the line did not do a real good job of protecting him.
Yeah, he got thrown around.
He got beat up a little bit, and so that's something to look at.
It showed he wasn't pushing off of his leg, which caused some of his throws to go short. Gimpy. Yeah, but Pierre Garçon looked good, and Hagerstead will look good as well. And Alfred Morris got rumbling finally in the second half, and they almost came back and won that game. But
overall, I was disappointed in the way Washington looked.
You know, they come out a little more fire.
I think they got it taken away from them, and their offense. They have a lot of offensive weapons there, and it just took them a while to get going. So that'll be something that we'll have to wait and see how things go when RG3 gets back into. He's in kind of preseason mode. They're in regular season mode.
Yeah, he's got a couple more weeks before he starts catching up. But in that game, they were down, and then you saw. I mean, they wanted him to be like more of a pocket passer, but once they got down by so many, he needed to start scrambling and started trying to make things happen.
Well, he had to scramble because he's trying to save his life.
And frankly, yeah, he needed to make some plays, get some first downs, pick up the first downs, and move the chains. Who else? Anybody else disappoint you or surprise you?
That was the main things, just because you're looking at the marquee guys, the big name guys, and being in week one, you want, especially those guys are on your team. I thought that some of the other big name guys, Aaron Rodgers was solid. Tony Romo, I thought he was solid. Adrian Peterson broke off that big run and then was kind of quiet. Didn't get 100 yards, but those are solid points that you were able to get. Those guys are people that you can pretty much count on to do some positive things for your team.
Yeah, Peterson had a really good game. Not, we're not talking a single game records and like that, but he had 3 touchdowns. He had 1 catch for a touchdown and then 2 rushing touchdowns.
But he was held to under 100 yards.
He was, yeah. He had 93 yards on the day to catch 4 passes for 18 yards. But man, it's Detroit. Detroit's decent. I don't think they're great, but with Adrian Peterson, they just need to start handing him the ball and stop this downfield throwing for Christian Ponder. It's not good. So, anybody really surprise you? Anybody you like? Possibly you might. Maybe not like one of the marquee players, but somebody that
I mentioned last week with Washington, Hankerson.
Hankerson, yeah.
He'd be under radar type of guy. With the Giants' struggles, Brandon Jacobs may be a guy that I think he's going to play. The way Tom Coughlin is with guys that put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, I think they'll give David Wilson another shot, but if he drops another one, if he loses another one.
It's not much of a shot he's going to get. Once he went out of the game last week, he did not go in.
Yeah, and Ridley was the same way with Belichick. I think Wilson's on a shorter leash, though, with Coughlin than Stephen Ridley is with Belichick in New England.
So that'll be something to watch. But I think Brandon Jacobs, I think he'll be a guy maybe in a week or two that you may want to pick up.
And he's definitely goal line, And he can also pass protect too, which Wilson
right. And they had a goal line situation where Wilson couldn't do much, and he missed some blocks. So that's something that that's a situation where if you drafted him and thinking he was going to help you out and do some things, right away, you're scratching your head like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and granted, we don't want to jump to conclusions. And all the Ridley owners and Wilson owners out there, don't jump off the bridge yet. There's still
but
time.
Just know the history. Know the history of their head coaches, and when you turn the ball over, you don't play for those two head coaches. And they may get a second shot, but it's going to be something where if something happens again, you may not see them for a while.
Guys, let's move into the guys that you might want to pick up. Some waivers have cleared. Some have not, depending on your league. I mentioned Julian Edelman before. Harry Douglas for the Falcons. If Roddy White, if he sits, I think Douglas would be getting a lot of his targets. He looked very good in the game last week against the Saints. Of course, we are talking about the Saints here. After all, their defense has improved a little bit. Douglas goes 4 for 93 on 6 targets. Brian Hartline for the Miami Dolphins, and you hear now. Do you follow the Dolphins? Is that one of your favorite teams or something like that? Or
it was, and I grew up in Florida, so I like the Dolphins, but I don't like anything that they're putting on the field right now.
Brian Hartline, he looks to be the real deal with the coverage rolling over to Wallace. Wallace was pretty much silent. Hartline had, looking at his numbers, 9 catches for 114 yards. He was targeted 15 times in this one. Caught 9 of them for 114 and a touchdown. The thing with Hartline, though, is you saw Tannehill looking for him quite a bit. Last year, if you remember that game, he had 12 catches for 253 yards and a score against Arizona. So, he can light it up. I think it was week 4 of last year. He can light it up, but then, no touchdowns since, no 100 yards. So he can't be silent. But this year might be a little bit different. But as you saw that game, Tannehill was looking to him often, whether it be just for quick dump out. He kind of knew where Hartline was. I think he trusts him more than Wallace right now. Wallace, I think, still needs to get with the program and learn the plays and stop whining so much. Let's move into Andre Roberts and Ruben Randall. All 3 receivers for the Giants, Hicks, Cruz, and Randall, all had over 100 yards receiving. Andre Roberts also did for the Arizona Cardinals, and Randall could be a nice play down the road if Hicks gets injured, and he's going to be their 3rd wide receiver. And in Arizona, Larry Fitzgerald, he'll be double covered all the time. He's still got 2 touchdowns, Fitzgerald. I like him this year, Fitzgerald, but Andre Roberts, his teammate, he could be getting some easy completions from Carson Palmer. For the tight end, I mentioned him last week, Jordan Cameron for my Cleveland Browns, 9 catches off 13 targets, 108 yards and 1 touchdown. Almost had a second one. It was a really big day for young tight ends. And I believe, let me see here, 1, 2, 3. There's 5 tight ends that had 2 touchdowns apiece. Julius Thomas for the Denver Broncos. He's probably the biggest ad on Thursday night. He had 5 catches, 7 targets, 110 yards, and 2 scores. So Jared Cook for the Rams. He's probably drafted. He led all tight ends with 141 yards, 7 catches, and 2 touchdowns. And Vernon Davis and Jason Witten. Jason Witten, I had him last year on my team. He did very well. He's solid PPR, but he was solid PPR. Didn't always get the touchdowns. Wasn't like a touchdown beast, as Gates Gonzalez used to be in the past. But he was solid. Now it's like he already has 2 touchdowns on the year.
And I think Romo looks to him more because he trusts him a lot better than what we talked about last week than Des Bryant.
He's like a big Wes Welker. You know, he's just going to pick up the first down. It's like wherever he needs to get to, he needs a 3rd and 8 or whatever.
In the red zone, it looked like Romo was looking to him more.
Yeah.
So that could be something that's a trend a little bit more this year than in the past because Witten said he wanted more touches and he wanted more critical ones, and he got them the other night.
Brandon Myers for the Giants, 7 catches on 9 targets for 66 yards and a score. Giants, I believe, a slight upgrade from the Oakland Raiders. Your thoughts on that one?
Oakland Pryor surprised me.
Oakland, look, yeah. And
he played well, and that's probably as good as he can play.
And that knockout pool was I mentioned that before. I said, wouldn't it be kind of funny if Terrell Pryor, won the game for Oakland and beat Indianapolis on the first day out? He had some very nice numbers. I mean, I
don't think anybody probably played him.
I don't think, and he's pretty much. I mean, if you have a 2-quarterback league, he might be a bye week fill-in depending on who they're playing.
But that may be as good as it gets for Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, and he did these. He was 217 yards. He had a touchdown. He did throw 2 picks, but he led all quarterbacks in rushing yards with 112 yards off 13 carries. So Michael Vick, he ain't got nothing on him.
It's going to be hard for him to do that week in and week out.
Maybe when he runs for his life, he'll be able to do that. So how about Carson Palmer? What did you think about him for Arizona?
I thought he was solid. I thought he was okay. I think he's a guy that most people that have him probably have him as a backup, and you may fill him in there if there's an injury or a bye week, but I don't trust the line enough.
I was going to say, that line looks atrocious.
Right. So I don't trust the line, and I wouldn't, unless there's a big injury, he's not a guy that I think I would put out there week in and week out.
Yeah, probably a bye week fill-in if that. I think the thing with Palmer, as opposed to the other Cardinal quarterbacks, is that he can handle the pressure a little bit more. He doesn't get frazzled so easily. And
he's a better quarterback.
He'll stay in the
what
pocket.
They were running out there too.
Yeah, he'll stay in the pocket. He can move around a little bit, wait for Fitzgerald to get downfield, and heave it up. And with Fitzgerald, I mean, you put that ball 10 yards within him, he's going to catch it. I mean, the guy is he's got like mad hops, and his hands are like, it's like Spider-Man. Everything sticks to it. Geno Smith, how about him? What'd you think?
I thought that
on a game they probably should have lost at Tampa Bay.
Right, they found a way to win. It wasn't pretty.
Thank goodness for defensive, unsportsmanlike conduct from Tampa Bay.
I wouldn't play Geno Smith at any time.
No, the Jets are a train wreck. They just,
and it's going to get worse before it gets better there.
It's not good. For running back, Joique Bell, mentioned him before. Reggie Bush, he's a little banged up. Joique Bell, along with Adrian Peterson, the only 2 running backs to get 2 rushing touchdowns. Didn't have the yards that Peterson had, but still might be a nice pickup if you can get him. A lot of people did draft him, though, but he's out there on the waivers for some people. Daniel Thomas, and he's looking to be...
See, I told you last week that
you did call that one, and I thought Daniel Thomas was washed up, but he got some goal line work, got a touchdown.
I think he's going to do more than what people envision because Lamar Miller is a smaller back.
He tries to shift too much and tries to juke everybody out. It's like
I don't think they're gonna go with him. He's not an every down guy.
I'm personally staying away from every Miami Dolphin.
Daniel Thomas can get you some points though.
If I was in a touchdown heavy league, I might. I don't think I would start this guy.
See, my league is touchdown heavy. So
if you're a touchdown heavy league, I think you'd be good. Just like Michael Bush would be good in Chicago. Right. But
2 carries, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's true. This is true. Brandon Jacobs, I mentioned before, he did sign a 1-year deal with the Giants. Maybe not this week. David Wilson, if he can't fix his fumbling ways, goal line work appears to be Jacobs. And I do like Jacobs. Is he going to wear 27 again?
I don't know if he can have it back.
I know he has 27 right now. Let's get to the matchups for this week. The Jets and the Patriots, they're playing tomorrow night. Who do you got?
Well, you can't take the Jets. I'm just looking point-wise because I don't think this is going to be much of a game.
Yeah, it's in New England.
The Jets are grasping for straws.
Geno Smith's their leading passer and rusher.
I think Geno will be able to put up some decent numbers only because the Patriots are going to have a big lead.
Kellen Winslow might be a nice little pickup, too. A lot of people are talking about him, the tight end, now for the Jets. He 7 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown, leading all the receivers. I like Kellen Winslow.
I think if you're
he's a former Cleveland Brown.
If you're a Jets fan, you're not going to like this game. But if you have Jet players on your fantasy team, which is we're talking about for fantasy purposes,
that's why
I think they're going to get points.
Yeah.
I think Geno's going to throw for a lot of yards because he's going to have to. They're going to be coming from behind.
Well,
Kellen Winslow is going to get catches, so they're going to get points.
They'll have some once New England racks up about 47 points. I think the defense will let off a little bit, maybe score, let them score.
So they
17.
have a chance. They have a chance to do some things, but I think Geno could throw 4 interceptions too.
Jets defense not too shabby either. They're ranked, I believe, 6th right now. But yeah, let's be honest. I think Tom Brady and the Patriots offense are kind of going to have their ways with New York. Moving into Sunday's games, the Rams are taking on the Falcons. Both these, actually, I was going to say both these teams 1-0, but the Falcons lost to the Saints towards the end. Rams are 1-0 though. What do you like about St. Louis?
Well, I like what Bradford was able to do. I think that this may be his year. Skeptics have been out for a while, but I do like, he was able to throw for almost 300 yards.
Jared Cook looked very good. He's finally with the team now that's not wasting his talent. He was with Tennessee before, now sitting with the Rams, and I think the Rams finally found their tight end.
I think maybe losing Jackson opened up some things for this offense. They may be going in a different direction.
Tavon Austin didn't really see too much of him, nor with Gibbons either. So, granted, small sample size, we'll be looking for more things from them. From the Falcons side, Roddy White, questionable, probably will play. I got to like the Falcons at home in this one. They don't lose too many times in Atlanta. Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, as he's called. Ooh. Enjoy your meal. Steven Jackson had a decent game. What do you think about Steven Jackson?
I think that revenge, playing against your former team, this may be a big opportunity for him to beat up on the Rams. So I would lean heavy on him. You guys usually do a good job against their former team.
I think he'll be starting Steven Jackson. He had 11 carries, 77 yards last week, 5 receptions, which was nice to see.
I think he'll get the ball more.
I think he'll definitely score this week, come hell or high water. How about the Carolina Panthers taking on the Buffalo Bills? I got to be honest, I'm not really watching this game.
You watch it if you have players.
I
have Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton. Yeah, he'll be good. I don't know. Both these teams, they're not sexy teams.
This is a fantasy football game here. You're not watching it because it's going to be compelling football.
No, we're not talking about the 49ers going against the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Though we're talking about maybe there's 1 or 2 guys maybe on both teams. Cam Newton, maybe D'Angelo Williams,
Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Greg Olsen.
Steve Smith, Greg Olsen. Bill's side, you got Stevie Johnson. You got C.J. Spiller. I guess I'll be watching for C.J. Spiller, and hopefully he can get some rushing yards on Carolina. I just wanted to look up Carolina's how many yards they give up here. Carolina giving up 70 yards last week in their game, in their loss. Moving into the Rams and Falcons, we talked about them already. Let's go to the Vikings and the Bears, the NFC North Division game. Matt Forte, thought he looked very, very good last week.
I thought Cutler, when he had time, looked good.
Found Bennett, the tight end. I liked Bennett. Marcellus Bennett's doing a good job there. Vikings basically just need to stick to what they do and just run the ball, as mentioned before, with Adrian
Peterson is it.
They don't need to do too much else. I don't know why.
They can dump the ball off to him. They can hand the ball off to him.
Do you find it? I hate when you have like a good player and then they try to like shy away from that. You know what I'm saying? They try to do more than what they really need to do when they know they have the superstar on their team, but they'll try to finesse and they'll try to throw more. Granted, you got to keep the defenses honest, but when you're good at doing something, why wouldn't you just stick with it?
Until they stop it. But the Bears' defense will be a different challenge for Adrian Peterson. The Vikings have not played well and have had all kind of trouble in Chicago.
What do you think about Brandon Marshall? What do you think about him this last week?
I thought he looked healthy.
He did fairly well. 8 catches, 101 yards, had a score as well. He had 10 targets. He caught all but 2 of them. Drafted in the probably second round, maybe third, so I think you're getting good.
But I
good
think the
value
injury concerns from the preseason were erased in a lot of people's minds by the way he played.
All right, let's get one more here before we take a little break. The Redskins taking on the Packers. Both these teams playoff. They should be playoff bound, and they're both 0-1 right now.
Well, the Redskins, as bad as that first half was, they're better. They're better than that, and RG3 is better than that. So I think Morris, RG3, they have too many weapons offensively to stay down.
Did you get a little tired watching the Philadelphia-Washington game, like the first half?
No.
It was. I mean, it was great. It was fun to see. What do you think about that screen pass that got deflected and went back the other way? Do you think it was a forward pass or?
I couldn't really tell.
It's very hard to tell, and I did like the way that the refs just let it play out, because years past they would just blow it dead, and then you couldn't challenge it or anything like that. The play was dead. I like the fact that they actually let the play continue and finish, and then if they wanted to challenge it, then they could do that.
No, I liked watching the Eagles. The way they ran up and down the field. That was fun.
LaShawn McCoy, he's if he gets this much work, I think he had 31 carries, I believe, in this game.
They only threw the ball 16 times.
31 carries. He had the most carries, the most yards rushing. He had 184 yards rushing, scored a touchdown. Only 1 catch, though. You might like to see a little more.
If you're going to carry the ball 31 times, I don't mind.
Yeah, this is true. But you thought you'd see a little bit more in a Chip Kelly. They'd see.
But they didn't throw the ball as much as people thought.
Yeah,
16 times they threw the ball.
And if that, we'll see if that continues. That might just have been in their game plan for this last week. The Green Bay Packers. Nothing really to worry about. Rodgers threw for 333 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lacey looked fairly decent. Their running back, 14 carries, 41 yards, and a touchdown. And Jordy Nelson led the receivers, 7 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Jordy Nelson, great when he's in there, but he's
can he stay on the field?
He's injury prone. So Randall Cobb had a nice little touchdown catch. My daughter and I were cheering over that one. He's on our fantasy team, so we enjoyed that. That'll be a game. See, that's more of a game I like to watch. The Carolina Bills game.
Only if you have players.
Yeah, but I'd like to, just as a football fan, I think I'd like to watch the Redskins and the Packers a little bit more on that one. But we'll take a break, and we'll be back with some more matchups from the 8-10 zone in Leawood. I'm Clay Jensen with Brian McRae. We'll be back in a moment here. What's that?
No, I'll tell you.
How many more breaks do you want? So we'll do the rest of the matchup. And you want to take a break and wrap up
That's really exciting. You know, they're talking about seeing, Leawood
finish the matchups, then we'll take a break. We can go right through it, but have like play.
Could have gotten the start,
Stanley Hotel.
You want to do that?
I just read online. My son heard about this hotel.
You do Luminaire first? No.
What movies have coming in?
Fantasy football on Wednesday night, week 2. We're covering it. Brian McShay in the house. We're getting a no echo here, I think.
Big echo.
Are we good over there, Jim? There we go. I think we had a little bit too much reverb there. Let's keep going with the games here. The Dolphins taking on the Colts at 1 o'clock. What'd you like from both teams there, from Miami and from Indianapolis?
Well, I like that Tannehill looked better, distributing the ball a little,
I think he's improving. He just
bit
needs
better.
He needs some more weapons, I think.
Right. But I still wouldn't play him. But he looked better.
Yeah. Hartline, we mentioned him before already. Daniel Thomas, he got the touchdown. He had 8 carries, 14 yards.
But he got a touchdown.
I'm doing the math. Yeah, great in touchdown heavy leagues if you got him. Standard league, standard scoring. I'm kind of just staying away from. But if that's your option, and I think
when the Dolphins have the ball in goal line situations, Thomas is going to get the ball. And if you in a league that touchdowns, that they weigh more heavily than amount of carries and yards, then that's the kind of guy you got to go to.
It's standard scoring though. I mean, if you had both these guys in your team, who would you start?
Between Miller and
Thomas.
Standard scoring, I think Thomas is going to get, as the season goes on, I think he's going to get the bulk of the playing time.
All right.
So, I mean, I don't know how many people would pick both of them on their team, but if you did have
I don't think
both,
you need to handcuff the guys.
If you did have both, I would go with Thomas.
Andrew looked very good for Indianapolis. Not a lot of yards passing, but they got the job done. I should say didn't get the job done. Oakland, no, they did. They did beat Oakland. They had 178 yards, 2 touchdowns in this contest. Vic Ballard was the leading rusher for Indianapolis, 63 yards off 13 carries. And Reggie Wayne, the fountain of youth,
continues to do it.
Doesn't age, 8 receptions, 96 yards, and to score. I think at home you got to like the Colts to win this game. For the Cowboys and Chiefs, big game going to be at Arrowhead. It's the opener in Kansas City. Cowboys coming to town. They're kind of on a short week, I guess. They played Sunday night against Eli Manning and the Giants. Romo, he's tough. He's not. I guess he's durable, I guess. I mean, he doesn't really miss games, but that guy gets whacked around a lot. He finished with 2 touchdowns.
And the way the Chiefs got after the quarterback in Jacksonville, and I know it's Jacksonville, but Romo
They
could
have
be in
6.5 sacks in that game?
Romo could be in for a short day.
Yeah, the line's going to need to really protect them. Chiefs defense, they're number one. Number one defense after 1 week. Chiefs are top.
I think their defense
About 178 yards.
is much improved, and that would have been, if I had the choice, I wanted to pick them with my first defense when it got to the later rounds, when people started picking the defenses, and they went very quickly in our league.
For the Chiefs?
Yes.
And around here, I can see that around here and like up in the Twin Cities. You see Minnesota's defense going. Everybody wants to watch their home team's defense and kind of cheer them on. I think the Chiefs are going to be there, have a really good defense this year.
I think they're going to be in the upper third of defensive in the league.
Well, they're not injured anymore. They don't have any injuries.
Poe is better.
Yep. So, they'll be fun to watch. Who do you like in this game to win? Murray looked very good for the Cowboys the other night. He had a lot of work his way.
Well, they had
catches
to do
out of the
something,
backfield.
because that was the worst rushing offense of team they've ever had in Cowboy history last year.
Yeah, I thought he looked very good. Now, if he can stay healthy, that's the question with Murray.
If I was watching it to care who wins, I would think that the Chiefs being at home with the momentum that they have, the defensive pressure they're going to bring on Romo, I think they win.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a close game.
I don't think it's going to be a close game.
You don't think it's going to be a close game?
No, Cowboys aren't that good.
Yeah, Des Bryant's banged up too. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be fairly close. I think the Chiefs will win as well, though, at Arrowhead. So it's going to be a fun game to watch if you're a Chiefs fan or just a fan in general.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a fun game to watch for Cowboys fans.
The Chargers at the Eagles. Phillip Rivers, 194 yards, had 4 touchdowns. This one, they needed to. Most of it was just basically coming back from behind, so a lot of garbage time. He's
But
not a
those
guy who can
points
start.
count.
Yeah, they do count. He's not started in any league. I mean, he's a backup for fantasy purposes. He might be a pickup now. I don't see, unless there's an injury to one of your quarterbacks. I don't think you can trust to start him week in and week out.
How many teams you have in your league?
Oh, that's like 10 or 12 teams.
I think they're going to throw more than they've thrown in past years.
Well, they're going to have to. 'Cause
he's going to put up some big numbers.
Ryan Matthews, 13 carries for 33 yards.
And he
That's
basically
not
didn't
really
play
done.
in the second half.
Yeah, Antonio Gates led the receivers. He only had 2 catches, 49 yards. So we'll keep an eye on them. I think this is in Philadelphia. This one's going to be a blowout. I think it's not even going to be close. I think the Eagles are just going to manhandle the Chargers, and they're not in San Diego. They're on a short week, and they're coming across over to the East Coast from the West Coast. They're going to be tired.
Playing against an offense that they have never seen, which
A lot of people haven't seen it.
they looked pretty good.
Yeah, you can look at one week of game tape, and that's about it. But I think the Eagles take this one easily. The old Browns versus the new Browns, I guess you could say. The Baltimore Ravens at home taking on the visiting Cleveland Browns. Brandon Whedon looked fairly good, 289 yards. He did have a touchdown to Jordan Cameron, who finished with 108 yards off 9 receptions.
The thing about a lot of these teams that are going to be playing from behind, don't rule out using their quarterback, because unless he throws 4 picks, he's going to get enough yardage to maybe make it worth your while.
And the picks really don't hurt you. I mean, depending on your league and how they might set it up. I mean, if you have somebody – see, being a commissioner for my league, it's pretty much -1 point for an interception, because sometimes you can't – your quarterback can't control that. It's sometimes it's a receiver that doesn't catch the ball when it hits him right in the numbers, and he pops it up and it's intercepted. You can't really hold the quarterback accountable for that.
But you still give him points for a tip pass, and that's a touchdown.
Yeah. This is true.
Our league does it a little bit different, but don't shy away from those teams that may be coming from behind.
Yeah, that's why I like Brian Hartline from Miami. They're most likely to be down. They'll need to catch up. And
Who are they going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, Wallace if he's covered, and same in Arizona if they're down. Fitzgerald, he gets a lot of looks too, as well as Roberts. So, who do you like in this game, Browns or the Ravens?
Ravens. If I'm caring who wins or loses.
All right, I can't shy away from.
I don't watch football anymore to care who wins or loses.
I can't shy away from my Cleveland Browns. I got to go with them and Trent Richardson. Ray Rice, 36 yards off 12 carries. He did have a touchdown. And they didn't look too amazing, I guess.
No, that was ugly.
Toby Jones is out now for extended time. He tore his MCL. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough go for both teams. I can actually see them both finishing pretty much with the same records this year. Might happen. Pittsburgh's not looking good, and Cincinnati's probably going to run away with the division. It's not looking too good in the AFC North. Let's move into some other games, some afternoon games. How about the Titans and Texans? Titans taking on Houston. Houston looks to be they're in form. I think Arian Foster looked a little rusty.
They're still going to split carries
with him and Tate. Yeah. He looked decent, nothing too amazing, but he looked fine. There's going to be other games when, he's just going to go off for like
healthy.
3 touchdowns. Yeah.
So that was the key. He looked healthy, and they're going to try to make sure he stays healthy.
He had 18 carries, 57 yards. Andre Johnson, 146 yards off 12 catches. He looked good.
And a touchdown call back.
Yeah. It's the story of his life. As long as he can stay healthy. Let's be honest, the Houston Texans are a run-first team. And Owen Daniels did get 2 touchdowns, a tight end from Schaub, who finished with 3 scores and 346 yards. So I do like Andre Johnson. I liked him when he first came out. Had him the first few years. And
he's not scoring as many touchdowns.
Yeah, he gets the receptions.
He's getting the receptions and the yardage.
Yep.
He hasn't been finding the end zone the last couple of years.
Yeah, PPR leagues, you want him. Touchdowns, not so much. Jake Locker led the way for the Tennessee Titans with 125 yards passing. Whoop-de-doo.
And that tells you all you need to know right there.
Yeah, Johnson, he had 25 carries for 70 yards. Not much to like on the Tennessee's side. I'm going to have to say Houston winning this game fairly easily. Detroit taking on Arizona in Arizona. Dominican Sue. $100,000.
But he's not suspended.
What do you think about that? I think that's the biggest bunch of bull in the world. I think he should be suspended. I mean, because
if they're going to fine him like that, they should suspend him. But they're not. So
because a game check is worth more than $100,000. $100,000 is nothing to sneeze at. A game check, I think, can make a little bit more than that. So, and he's just known for being a cheap, dirty player.
Yeah, I don't understand what they do. How they set fines and all that in the league. It doesn't make sense. There's no rhyme or reason to how they do whatever they're going to do. But if you have the Lions defense, you have to be happy that he's not suspended for this week's game.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's because he's a big name that I think the NFL wants him out there. People like to watch him play, but I think he at least should have been suspended for at least one game. $100,000. He'll appeal that. I think he said something about like, I fell into him. I accidentally fell into him. Like the one time was with against Green Bay. Oh, my foot accidentally kicked Aaron Rodgers in the groin. It's like.
Well, he's never going to get the benefit of the doubt anymore.
No, not anymore. I mean, Reggie Bush looked very good. 21 carries, I mentioned before, 90 yards. And he led our receivers at 4 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Gotta like the Lions in this one. I think they'll go into Arizona and pick up the victory. For the Saints and Buccaneers, this is always a good game. I think that whenever these two teams play, the Saints you think would dominate this game, but Tampa Bay usually plays them pretty tough.
The thing about Tampa is they can't match score for score with the Saints. Josh Freeman is not that type of quarterback. Yeah, so if it gets into a high-scoring game, which I think the Saints will score. They have a lot of weapons on offense. I think they will score a lot. I don't think the Bucs can match that.
And Tampa Bay, they have bolstered it up. They got their offensive line back. The bad thing with Doug Martin, he's a great talent, but once they get down, before Doug Martin was there, they had LeGarrette Blount, and once Tampa Bay got down, they stopped running the ball, and that's the bad thing.
And I think that's going to happen.
Back on there.
It's going to happen to the Saints. So Josh Freeman may put up some nice numbers.
Vincent Jackson's the real deal. I think Mike Williams, he also scored. He had a good game last week. Vincent Jackson, 154 yards, receiving off 7 catches. Do they have the offensive power as the Saints do? No. I do like their defense a little bit better, but I don't think you're going to really hold Drew Brees.
No, it's going to have to be a low-scoring game for them to win.
They'll have to keep the Saints offense off the field. Like the Saints or Bucs in this one?
Saints.
If you had to
Saints.
Choose one. Yeah, I'd go with the Saints too. Jacksonville Jaguars against the Raiders. This could be the worst game on TV, unless you have Sebastian Janikowski, of course.
Maybe
Polish
they
Power
just don't
King.
play this game.
It's CBS is there, and I don't know. They need to find.
Maybe they say uncle and just don't.
Reruns of the Gilmore Girls,
something.
possibly. I don't think too many people are going to be watching this game. It's
But somebody's going to have Maurice Jones-Drew, and they want him to do well.
somebody's going to have a win after this week. Jacksonville, okay, maybe they'll tie. Don't see it happen often, but someone's going to win.
I don't see Pryor having the week that he had, so if there's somebody out there that wants to throw him in for a start because you saw what the Chiefs did to the Jaguars defense, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's true. Justin Blackman, he's still going to be gone for another 3 games, but if you're looking to pick for a sneaky pickup, pretty soon as the weeks go on, a lot more people, he's going to be more owned in fantasy leagues, so Justin Blackman would be a good pickup.
But who's going to get him the ball?
Henne. Chad Henne. Broncos taking on the Giants. This will be a fun one to watch. The Manning Bowl. Is this 2? The second one, or no, it's the third one now. I think they played
I'm not sure
twice
what
already.
number it is, but this is the first when one Manning has come out throwing 7 touchdown passes.
Do you think it's hard being Eli Manning?
No, because he's got 2 rings.
Yeah.
He's got more rings than his brother.
All right, who's now? If you're basing off of Super Bowl rings, Eli Manning's a better quarterback.
No, Peyton's the better quarterback, but Eli's got the rings.
I look at.
So if you're going to be the little brother,
he does have that on him.
That you have 2 rings. That's
you could wave that in his face, I guess, but
that's nothing. When the end of his career, he ain't going to feel bad about only having 2 rings.
Oh no.
Because more than likely, he's going to have one more ring than his brother.
After what the Broncos did on last Thursday night and what the Giants showed on Sunday night, even though the Broncos are away, I think you got to like them to go into New York and take care of business. The defense, I think they'll start for the Giants. I think they'll start shoring it up a little bit and play a little tougher.
This is going to be another high-scoring game, I think.
Yeah, it's.
There are going to be points all over the board.
It'll be fun to watch.
If you have a Giants or Broncos player,
you're starting them.
I would play him.
Yeah, you got to start them. Another good game. This is the NFC West. 2 teams that nobody really thought too much about. The 49ers and Seahawks, now they're atop in the NFC. They're both their defenses are stout. You want to see your players do well. Like I have Colin Kaepernick in both my leagues, and going up against Seattle in Seattle with the 12-man, it's going to be a tough go. I do think he'll find the end zone. I think he'll have probably about 2 touchdowns and a rush one in.
This I think will be more like a 16-10.
You don't want to see it. You know it's probably going to happen, but both these defenses are really good. So not a lot of room for Marshawn Lynch to be running, or for Russell Wilson for throwing. But it'll be a fun game. Do you like defensive games?
I like defensive games when I have the defense.
Well, yeah, but low-scoring games. I mean, it's like watching.
I don't like low-scoring games.
It's like watching baseball when you have 2 ace pitchers up there.
I'd much rather watch 2 aces pitched than, because there's still things that go on.
Yeah.
In a game that make it interesting to watch. Football 3 and outs are not interesting at all.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough go for points. I think. I don't know what the over/under is for total points, but it's got to be probably like around 38. I would say something low like that. We'll finish up with the Monday night game, and we'll take a little break, and I'll wrap things up here. Monday night, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cincinnati Bengals. You can't call them the Bungles anymore.
They're better.
The defense looks really good. both teams trending in opposite directions. It used to be Cincinnati that was always, the bottom feeder along with Cleveland, and Pittsburgh up on top. Now it's looked like they're reversing roles.
Well, Pittsburgh has problems moving the ball.
They have lost their center for the year.
They've lost the running back. They've lost the center.
Marty, he has an ACL.
They have problems. Ben is not as mobile back there in the pocket. He looks bad.
Yeah, it'll be a rough go. They just signed Dwyer not long ago. The base of the guy they said they kicked to the curb, said we don't want you anymore. Now Pittsburgh's like, oh hey,
we need you.
Come on, buddy, come on. All that stuff we said about you. No, how you doing, pal? So Dwyer will be back. He'll be the second running back. Redmond looks to get the start. AJ Green. I told you I don't like that guy.
But he puts up points.
My gosh. I think he almost had 3 touchdowns. He had 9 receptions, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It just amazes me that I don't see Andy Dalton just being like this great quarterback. But I think it's more AJ Green because he'll just throw the ball up there, and I don't know how it happens. But even against Joe Hayden with the Cleveland Browns, he's a great cornerback. The guy always finds a way to catch the
bigger,
ball.
Stronger, more physical.
It's amazing.
He's probably one of the most physical receivers out there, and he will get most of the jump balls.
Yeah, and you think that they would roll more coverage over his way, but it hasn't happened since he's been in the NFL. Got to like the Bengals in this one. They're at home. Steelers they're not looking good. Steelers are kind of like the Oakland Raiders. They're a little bit better.
They're old and slow.
Yeah, they need their defense is decent with Polamalu out there, but they have a lot of problems there. I think we have to go with the Bengals in that one. Green Ellis, 14 carries, only 25 yards, but he did score. The rookie running back, what is his name? Giovanni Gio.
I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, it's. I want to say he's Italian, but I don't think he is. He was supposed to be a big PPR machine, but so far has not shown it. But Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, I think he's probably your starter. If you're in a PPR league, you can go with Gino as well. All right, we'll wrap things up and let you know some of the players we like this week. For as far as sleepers go, and maybe give you, I don't know, should we do some picks or something like that?
Do a little bit of everything.
We'll
figure it out.
We'll have some picks, and we'll see who finishes better for this week. My eliminator pool, I was mentioned before, I had the Houston Texans. I was sitting in front of the TV on Sunday night, late Sunday night. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The San Diego Chargers, they can't possibly be this good. They were up early, but you had to have the feeling that San Diego was just going to implode on themselves, and Houston would find a way to win.
Phillip Rivers was going to throw a bad interception at some time, and he did.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back in a moment here from the 8-10 zone in Leawood. I'm Clay Jensen with Brian McRae. We'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back from the 810 zone in Leawood. I'm Clay Jensen with Brian McRae. Good to have you with us there, Brian. Thank you for gracing
It's good to do something different. I do so much baseball, but I've been playing fantasy football for 20 some odd years with buddies of mine from high school. So this is something that we do weekly. We get together and we talk about our teams and
trash talk a little bit.
Make trades and try to make
Now, do you
decisions.
get a lot of trades in your league? Because mine, it's like it's like pulling teeth sometimes.
We'll have maybe 4 or 5 trades a year.
Yeah.
Around week 6 or 7, the trades will start happening.
Well, that's easy. And sometimes now, do you?
It's not a keeper league. So.
Okay, so you don't like trade draft picks for next year and stuff like that.
No, just straight up players and.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, usually the only trades I get are with my my friend Dan, who I usually seem to come out on the winning end of them. I don't know how, but he's getting better. He's getting better. So, all right, let's go over some of these picks. Let's a friendly game of picks. Not that we look at the games for who win loss. We look at it mostly for your fantasy football players, but. We'll just have like a little friendly wager here. The Jets and Patriots. Who do you got? I think you got to go with the Patriots, right? Or you want to take the Jets?
No, I think I thought we already went through this. Who we picked?
Well, I didn't get all of your picks there, so we'll quickly go through this. Falcons and the Rams.
Falcons.
All right. Welcome, Falcons.
I'll take
Panthers
the Falcons.
at Bills.
I'll get in on this too. I'll take the
Panthers.
Falcons.
You want to take the
too.
Panthers?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take the Bills at home, so we'll differ there. Rams and the Falcons. We got them already. Vikings and Bears. I got to go with Minnesota, even though they'll probably lose.
Going with the Bears.
All right, that might be one that you're going to get. It's kind of a homer pick there. Redskins, Packers.
Packers.
Packers. You want to take RG3?
Nope. I
Sure.
want them to score points for me, but I don't think they're going to win.
I think we're on agreement with that one. Let's move to the Dolphins and Colts in Indy.
Colts.
I think we agree on that. How about Cowboys and Chiefs? I think we both said the Chiefs. Right? Let's see. The Browns, Ravens. We're split on that one. Chargers and Eagles. I got the Browns. You got the Ravens. Eagles. Yeah, I think we're both good on that one. The Texans and the Titans. I think we both said Texans. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Lions and Cardinals.
Lions.
I'm gonna go Cardinals. We'll have to differ a little bit here. And finally, the Steelers and Bengals.
Bengals.
Both taking the Bengals. Yeah, I agree on that one. So we got a couple different ones here on that. Oh, do we have more? We do have more. Saints and the Buccaneers.
Saints.
Yeah. We'll have to go with the Saints also. Broncos and Giants.
Broncos.
Exactly. Gosh, here's a good one. You pick one and I'll pick one. Do you want me to pick first? The Jaguars
I'll take the Raiders.
Are you want the Raiders for? I like the Raiders.
Because they played better last week.
They're at home, too. It could be Sebastian Janikowski
That
with the
doesn't
winning
matter,
field
but
goal.
they played better last week.
All right, I'll take the Jaguars. Hopefully Maurice
The
Jones.
Jaguars have no quarterback.
All right, 49ers, Seahawks. Do I get the 49ers on this one?
49ers.
You want the 49ers?
49ers.
I'll take the Seahawks at home. And I think those are all of them. Yes, sir. All right. Remind you to come down to the 810 zone. Tomorrow night they have, during all day, domestic pints, bottles, and well drinks, all $3. And then on Sunday, the domestic buckets, $12. $5 to a bucket.
So if you don't go out to Arrowhead, come on in here and watch the game.
Yep. And if you're out there for the, it's a is it a noon game?
It's a noon game. You can come
Noon
in here and
game.
watch the later games.
Yeah, watch the 3 o'clock games and stay for Sunday night football as well when the 49ers are taking on the Seahawks. It's going to be a great game to watch on that one.
Hey, Clay.
All right.
Also on Friday, it's Red Friday, and pep rally will start at 6:30 at the Power and Light District.
At the where?
Power and Light District.
Power and Light District, Red Friday.
Main stage down there at the Power and Light District.
Yeah.
I have to get out more. It's a little journey from Chillicothe, but
It's
I have
worth
to
it.
get down here.
It'd be worth
I have
it.
to get down here more. So, all right. We got anything else you want to make mention?
I think that's it. Just watch what our picks are, and don't panic on your fantasy teams.
Yeah. Don't.
After week 1, if you had a loss or some guys didn't do well, don't start changing your roster, your lineup, and all those crazy things.
I started 0-4 last year in my league, and I that was like probably the worst experience I ever had in my life. But you don't panic. You're not going to win your fantasy league on your draft. You could lose it, as we said last week. But a lot of free agents out there to
Let
pick
things
up, so.
shape up. with some of these teams and some of your players.
It's only been 1 week, so there we are. All right, from the 810 Zone in Leawood, I'm Clay Jensen with Brian McGray, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Thanks for listening.